Mariners make a trade. They acquire Andrew Salcedo from the Cincinnati Reds, and in return, they send Ty France to the Cincinnati Reds. This is really not an analysis of the deal so much as an appreciation for Ty France, because I haven't gotten a chance to appreciate Ty France very much on this channel. Quickly, the return, Andrew Salcedo, organizational depth. 4 minor league seasons, 246, 347, 330 slash, 4 homers, no stolen bases. He's made 3 pitching appearances. As far as I know, that's just the thing that's happened. It sounds like blowout type stuff, but organizational depth. Maybe someday develops into a backup backstop. Maybe he can reach AAA, but this is just something that helps the lower ranks of the minor leagues. It's not a return that's worth talking about. All due respect to Andrew Salcedo. By the way, there's a U in there. Andruw. So if you're writing it up, just remember that's what Andrew Salcedo is. Wish him luck. But it sounds like this is more, yeah. Like I said, I haven't gotten a chance to really appreciate Ty France on this channel very much. And, I don't mean that to be the insult that is what it's coming off to be for sure. I mean, it's a little bit. But look, I started the channel in 2023. I think in March of 2023, February, one of the two. Definitely wasn't January. Anywho, maybe it was January. Doesn't matter. Since 2023, in 2023, the first year of this channel, Ty France appeared in 158 games and he hit 250, 337, 366. It's a 703 OPS, which is an OPS plus right on the dot of 100. In 2024, in 88 games, he hit 223, 312, 350, 662. That's an OPS plus of 94. And I think it's easy to forget because of the fact that, and I'll just be brutally honest here, that Ty France was bad over the majority of the season and 5/8 of this channel. The Ty France has been bad. It certainly wasn't always the case, and I totally understand why so many people are kind of bummed to see him no longer be a part of the team. Let's go back to August 31st, 2020, when the Mariners traded Austin Adams, Dan Altavilla, and Austin Nola to the San Diego Padres for Andres Munoz, Luis Torrens, Taylor Trammell, and Ty France. Now, immediately, this is not hindsight at all. I went on the radio and raved about this trade. I thought it was the best move that Dipoto had made. But it's worth pointing out that one of the reasons I was so excited about that trade was Taylor Trammell, a guy who looked like he was a top 75-ish prospect, maybe a little bit higher. I was infatuated with Taylor Trammell's skill set, and I still wish you luck, Taylor. But I was excited about Andres Munoz, but being honest again, he threw really hard. There were concerns about the slider. Funny now, isn't it? Luis Torrens looked like a backup catcher, and that's what Luis Torrens is. But not to toot my own horn, I went on a bunch of stations, and I said, the guy you want to keep an eye out here for is Ty France. He's put up really good numbers in the minor leagues. The sample with San Diego did not go great in 2019. 69 games, had a 696 OPS. 9-49 walk to strikeout rate. That's not great. But he had always hit in the minors. And in 2020, before the trade with the Mariners, with the Padres in 20 games, and keep in mind that's 1/3 of a season because of, I hate 2020. 309, 377, 491. 2 homers. I had some concerns about the power. I had some concerns defensively about him being a second baseman, but I thought this was the guy to keep an eye on, and to say that he was someone to keep an eye on is the understatement of understatements. He comes to Seattle. He hits 302, 362, 453 in 23 games. And keep in mind, in the bad year, that is close to 40% of the year. Hits a couple homers, 6 to 22 walk to strikeout ratio shows there's definitely some things to keep an eye on, but there were some real flashes there. And then 2021, Ty France was awesome. 291, 368, 445, 18 homers, 73 RBIs. And, you keep in mind, and another thing to keep in mind here too, and I want to credit Ty France for this as much as you can possibly credit somebody. Dude was a 34th round pick out of San Diego State University, a 34th round pick. We don't even do 25 rounds anymore. So to say Ty France was not a guy with a big prospect pedigree coming out of San Diego State, is quite the understatement. But he worked his you-know-what off and had some underrated skills, things that we sometimes don't always appreciate enough. The ability to put the bat to the barrel. 2021, he was awesome. In 2022, let's just go over the overall numbers first. 274, 338, 436. And that's a strong season, especially by today's standards. That's an OPS plus of 125, 128 the previous season. But I don't think those numbers tell you just how great Ty France was for a lot of 2022. So he has this big 2021 season, and the expectations are, it's not like people are thinking he's going to be a top 5 first baseman or anything like that, but the expectations are pretty solid. And boy, does he live up to them from April 8th to June 23rd. And we'll talk about why we're picking such a weird date in a second. Ty France hit 316, 390, 476. 316, 390, 476. That is an OPS of 867. And he was easily among the best first basemen in baseball. And then I don't remember the player's name, and I don't care because it's not important. Who it was isn't important. What happened is extremely important. But he basically gets click-clacked, and somebody runs through his shoulder in a very gruesome injury. And I thought for sure Ty France was going to miss a lot of baseball. But he only ends up missing 2 weeks. I think it's fair to wonder if he ever was the same player again. He comes back July 7th against the Toronto Blue Jays, and he goes 1 for 4. From that point on through October 5th, Ty France hit 232, 285, 395. Not a small sample. It's just under half a year, 70 games. He did hit 10 homers. I don't think Ty France has been the same since that injury. So he struggles at the end of that year. He has a very up and down 2023, and up and down is maybe too nice. And then we know what happened in 2024. But let's look at the numbers from a deeper perspective. Not too deep, because I don't want this to be a 20-minute video, but I think it was pretty obvious that I was skeptical of Ty France coming into the year. But there were some folks who were not, in part because of an off-season regimen. And folks, I've just seen a lot of off-season regimens. Okay, I'm an old man, but there were some numbers to back up that he was better in 2023 than those numbers suggested. Expected weighted on base average of 342 is in the 70th percentile. Expected batting average is in the 75th percentile. Was only swinging and missing 21.9% of the time, 69th percentile. And he only struck out in 77% of his plate appearances. So look, he hit 250 that year. He was better than a 250 hitter. He got on at a 337 clip. It's a little below what he actually ended up doing. So I understood why some folks had some excitement on top of the fact that you just really wanted Ty France to do well. None of it carried over in 2024. Expected batting average of 226. I'm not going to go over all of these numbers, but 17th percentile, 87.9% exit velocity, 27th percentile, hard hit percentage, 33rd percentile. The whiffs started to add up too. 52nd percentile, which isn't that terrible, but certainly higher than before. And the strikeouts, 31st percentile, 24.4% of his plate appearances. It just wasn't tenable anymore. And on top of that, and I don't want to make this too negative. I promise you I'll end with positive. The fact he added 0 base running value and the fact that he was not a great defensive player. You can't live with that for that long. You just can't. Not at the first base position. I'm sorry, Ron Washington's acting, whoever the actor was that played Ron Washington. Nothing in baseball is easy. First base is one of the easier positions and one of the positions that you can put somebody who isn't good at defense if they hit. And there just wasn't enough hitting. And on top of the lack of value on the bases and the lack of value on defense, it's why I hate saying this, but Ty France had to go. Okay. Negative stuff out of the way. Again, because of when this channel started, I didn't get to tell you how much I loved Ty France. And I still love Ty France, the person. And I hope Ty France goes to Cincinnati and rakes. It will be very frustrating, but it won't be at the same time because Ty France deserves good things from everything I've heard about Ty France. I loved watching this guy hit maybe as much as any Mariner over those 3 seasons. From 2020 to the middle of 2022, Ty France was as good as anyone on the Seattle Mariners. And if you want to say that starting with faint praise, you can, but that's not what I'm here to do. There was just something about him. He was such an enjoyable watch. I love watching guys go to the opposite field, and that's when Ty France has been at his best, is when he can hit the ball hard to the opposite field. When Ty France did that, he was pretty darn close to great. Very good at the least. And, you know, I don't know how much this really affected him or not, but you can't not talk about the hit by pitches. But I'll say this. I'm not encouraging hitters to wear one. But when you see guys who are willing to wear one as much as Ty France, you see how much he cares. You see how much this means to Ty France. That guy would do anything to get on base. Literally. You know, the term scrappy usually means not very talented. But Ty France had a scrappiness to him and has a scrappiness to him. And again, I hope that it comes and shows out in Cincinnati. Don't eat the chili. But I, I think it's easy because it was it was such a short run, but I really hope we appreciate Ty France. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. And I'm sad that I don't get to be frustrated by you. It's a weird thing to say. Yeah, you were a good Seattle Mariner, Ty France. It ended poorly, but you were a good Seattle Mariner. Go put up numbers in Cincinnati, buddy. I forgot to hit the end button.